What's up YouTube and welcome to this Supergirl episode review. Now this episode was fucking lit. It was too lit to quit. A lot happened in this episode. We had a lot of cool things reveal themselves in this episode. Now let's start. So one of the big mysteries was what happened to Kara's father. That was one of the big whole things from last season. We knew that Hank Henshaw wasn't really Hank Henshaw, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, I guess we're not going to get Cyborg Superman. But we actually did. Now, this was absolutely fucking cool, I think, having this version. So we've got a Hank Henshaw who's absolutely pissed that aliens have now taken over the DEO, and he's also in the damn Fortress of Solitude, which, you know what, that's not very good, is it, at all? So it's really interesting where they're going to go from here and what he's actually going to be doing at the Fortress of Solitude. So kind of an odd place for him to go when you think about it, because there's not really any people who know about it, and really, what's he going to do there? But I'm guessing there's quite a lot of artifacts that you can actually use there at the Fortress of Solitude. So we've got Kara's and Alex's father back. It's really cool seeing Dean Cain on the screen, because that was my Superman. I grew up with Dean Cain on the Adventures of Lois and Clark. So that was a really, really cool thing, seeing him back in the show. And I really did love the Adventures of Lois and Clark. It was proper sick, that show. So good. And really paved the way for Smallville. So this episode we've got the Batman is in this episode, kind of. We have a reference to someone who Kara mentions that her cousin has worked with. And we seem to be getting quite a lot of Gotham references. There was the guy in the trailer, and also, obviously, he was in the first episode. I mentioned Gotham. We've had Gotham mentioned previously. So are we going to get Batman or Nightwing in the show? It would be pretty cool, because Bloodhaven hasn't really been mentioned, I don't think. I think it's may have been mentioned briefly on Arrow, but you could get a Nightwing style thing with the kind of New 52 where he doesn't actually work out of Bloodhaven. He's only just recently, in the last issue of Nightwing, working or getting towards working out of Bloodhaven, which is interesting. So, but I think we're probably going to get I would say more of a bigger Easter egg as time goes on towards Batman. It would really, really, really cool to see Batman in here. And it would be cool to see Superman enlist the powers of Batman to take out Cyborg Superman. But personally, I don't think it's going to happen. The only reason we got Deadshot back on Arrow was because it was in a dream sequence. The only reason we're getting Deadshot back, even though he is working in the new Ben Affleck Batman film, that's going to be a dream sequence as well. So unless it's a dream sequence, I can't see us getting Batman whatsoever. So, unfortunately, that won't happen. But we could get Superboy. So they've got the DNA. They have the whole DNA for some Kryptonians. So they could make their own version and make Superboy, which would see a very true-to-life comic thing as well, and evoke memories of Young Justice with Superboy in there, which would be fucking cool. It would be really cool seeing Superboy in there when Mon-El eventually turns evil. I'm convinced that's going to happen. I'm really convinced that he's going to turn evil, to be honest, because he's such a douchebag. So I reckon Superboy is a very, very likely scenario moving forward for this. And I think that when they make their final assault on Cadmus as a whole, when they finally start to dispatch them all, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get to see Superboy there, the final experiments, so to speak. So, we've got a Thanagar reference there with the metal that they are stuck in the prison that Kara and Mon-El are there. In it, they've got the Thanagarian metal, which is another kind of Dominator reference thing with the Thanagarians helping out. And also a reference to Legends of Tomorrow as well. So, Superboy, yes. Batman, no. Thanagarian, weird little thing there. Now, I really did like having we got a proper showing for the Guardian for Jimmy Olsen. I think this is the best use of him, to be honest, in a post kind of Superman, Batman brain, a post Superman's best friend sidekick, with him being the Guardian on the show. It gives him something to do. It makes him irrelevant in this show, which I thought was pretty cool. And this has been highlighting the actual entitlement kind of that Kara has of just being allowed to be a superhero. And she's saying, oh, why are others doing this? So there's that. So it's a really cool episode, I think, as a whole. It was quite action heavy. We've got some cool fight scenes. And we've got some big setup moving forward. We've got Batman kicking possibly ass. Maybe, no, I don't think so. But it was nice to have that. But I think, if anything, with Batman, we're going to get Robin or Nightwing, to be honest. Although Nightwing has been pegged for Arrow for quite some time now. And he would possibly fit that better. The best way to put Batman, in this show is to have him side by side with Superman come down to the city and sort things out. So we've also got the Martian threat there, with the slowly John Johns is turning into a white Martian, which I think is a bit of a crappy storyline personally. I didn't like that whatsoever, but there are some people who probably like that, to be honest. But that's it for this video. Please drop a like. Please subscribe. See you soon. Goodbye.